The balance with which Howard takes the shot. She's just kind of on a fade a little bit. Watch this, like, no, it's almost like fingertips.
So I tweeted out initially this was nothing. This is worse than I thought it was. Like this, again, I'm not gonna say it's intentional because Angel just throws her arms around, but like, this is a flagrant.
The refs in Atlanta got something going on, bro. Like, let's look at it one more time, slow motion. This is as pathetic as these four, well, I'm gonna say 3 of the 4 hooligans at halftime just blabbing about Atlanta. We understand the bias.
The lights dimmed in State Farm Arena, but the real fire wasn't on the hardwood. It was in the whistles that seemed to define a night of high-stakes basketball. The Indiana Fever walked away with a gritty 95-91 overtime victory, a result that keeps them firmly in the hunt for playoff positioning. Yet the aftermath has been dominated by whispers and heated debates across social media. Allegedly, online rumors are swirling that the officiating in Sunday's clash between the Fever and the Atlanta Dream was anything but standard. It is reported by vocal segments of the fan base that certain sequences were tipped in a way that defied the typical flow of professional basketball. While the box score shows a hard-fought contest where Clark poured in 26 points and 9 assists, the atmosphere on the court felt different to those watching closely. Reportedly, there were moments during the game where the officiating drew immediate, visible frustration from both benches.
Like, that's really bad. That is really bad with the refs. I thought it was this one. When I said, oh, this is nothing, I thought it was this situation here that they were looking at.
Whether it was the rhythm of the game being interrupted at pivotal junctures, or the specific nature of the calls during crunch time, the tension was palpable. For a league that prides itself on precision and parity, these moments of ambiguity are often magnified by the massive audience that now tunes in to see stars like Clark and Angel Reese clash.
It gets to a point to where it's like, this stuff isn't an accident. It's always happening to the same people and the same team. Y'all get out of here with it was an accident, it's a coincidence. Get out of here with that, bro. And in the same play, multiple times. Like, come on, bro. Like, people trying to get away with certain stuff, and it's just nasty, bro.
It is important to emphasize that questioning officiating is not the same as proving a conspiracy. There is no verified evidence at this time to suggest that any referee intentionally manipulated the outcome of the game to favor one side. However, the internet has become a buzzing hive of amateur detectives who are dissecting every frame. Fans are pointing to specific instances of contact, or the lack thereof, arguing that the standard of the game appeared to shift precisely when Indiana needed to hold their ground.
So what was very interesting about those 2 clips is that it involved the same referee. In the first clip, Clark had the ball, and she basically wanted a foul call, and she throws a tantrum right in front of the ref, and the ref does nothing. Doesn't blow the whistle, doesn't even tee her up, nothing, okay? This same ref, the very next day, ended up reffing a game for the Atlanta Dream, and he makes a call. Angel didn't like it. She waves him off and walks away, and he tees her up. So to me, if you teed up one, you should have teed up the other, right? Right? You see, this is the evidence that showcases that there is bias in refereeing in the WNBA, particularly when it comes to...
When you have a league growing as rapidly as the WNBA, every whistle carries more weight, and every subjective judgment call becomes a lightning rod for scrutiny. The sequence that has people talking involved the final moments of regulation, with the game hanging in the balance. A series of opportunities for the Dream to seal the deal ended in frustration. Shots from Ryan Howard, Angel Reese, and Naz Hillman all failed to drop, sending the game into overtime. Some viewers have questioned why certain physical plays in that stretch weren't addressed by the officiating crew, leading to speculation that the game was being squeezed to prevent a clear result. Allegedly, the inconsistent application of the rules in those closing seconds is what has sparked such intense online discourse.
I told y'all Angel Reese was garbage. I told y'all Angel Reese was pure garbage. How you like me now? How you like me now? How you like me now? Angel Reese, you had me laughing at you, girl. I told you, Angel Reese is a pure bum, the worst kind. Angel Reese is the type to steal the trash off your curb and try to see if she can go put it in her refrigerator. The girl can't make a layup to save her life.
Of course, the other side of the coin is that officiating is an incredibly difficult, split-second job. Basketball, especially in the fourth quarter and overtime, is a chaotic, high-intensity environment. Players are moving at full speed, bodies are colliding, and referees are tasked with making calls in real time that are later picked apart by slow-motion replays. Reports suggest that the WNBA officiating department is aware of the heightened pressure this season, as the spotlight on every game has intensified alongside the league's popularity. Caitlin Clark, for her part, has remained focused on the task at hand. Her post-game comment, where she addressed a high IQ play involving a full-court heave to run out the clock, show a player who is operating on a different wavelength entirely. Clark noted that her main goal in the final seconds was simply not to foul, emphasizing the necessity of discipline when defending a narrow lead.
This last one, our main goal was just not to foul in that situation. Up four, honestly, let him shoot if you're behind, got the ball back, and I've had that in the bag for a while. Just chuck it down the court. Somebody's got to go get it, or the clock's going to run out.
This maturity is exactly what the Fever have needed as they navigate a challenging road trip. The ability to stay composed while the game around you becomes a courtroom is a hallmark of the league's top-tier talent. Angel Reese, despite the loss, continued to showcase her dominance on the glass, finishing with a double-double of 15 points and 14 rebounds. Her performance was a reminder of why this matchup is so heavily anticipated.
Caitlin Clark is clearly a better basketball player than Angel Reese.
But you know what's crazy? Because I don't...
But Angel Reese is a good player, but she just play two different positions. Like, it's not even the same type of game.
But there's always a conversation about, y'all don't see that? About who's better out of the two ladies, Caitlin or Angel Reese? I always thought...
I don't see that conversation anymore.
Okay, not anymore, right? But in the beginning, yes. And I actually started to watch some of the clips because I wanted to determine for myself. And then I was like, oh, Caitlin is obviously really a great player.
Yet, the missed layup in the final seconds of regulation has become a focal point for critics. Online rumors suggest that her struggles at the rim in pressure-filled moments are becoming a recurring topic, though her statistical impact on the game remains undeniable. The narrative surrounding this game has stretched far beyond the final buzzer. Many fans are comparing this specific officiating performance to other games throughout the season, creating a tapestry of grievances that suggests a systemic issue. It is often claimed online that certain players, specifically those who draw the most headlines, are subjected to a different officiating standard, either too much leniency or, conversely, overly aggressive whistleblowing.
Wow. You would think that Angel Reese going against Caitlin Clark, she would try to show up at least in some sort of fashion, right? Well, she showed up physically. Now, when it comes to talent, oh my gosh, Caitlin Clark just embarrassed this girl. I mean, let me just play this. Let's not do too much talking. Look at Caitlin Clark just laughing. We'll get to how we got to this point of the game. Caitlin Clark enjoying the last laugh on Angel Reese, just trolling her, looking at her in disbelief like, wow.
Whether this is true remains a subject of intense debate, but the perception alone is fueling the fire. We have to look at the broader context of how the league manages these high-profile matchups. When Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese share the court, the viewing numbers skyrocket. This brings a level of scrutiny that wasn't present even just 2 seasons ago. Referees are now essentially working under a microscope. Every time a whistle is blown, or perhaps more importantly, every time a whistle is not blown, thousands of social media users are there to provide an instant breakdown. It is a pressure cooker environment where one bad call can be blown out of proportion, creating a narrative that might not reflect the reality of the game itself.
By the WNBA's own rules, she is not looking at Caitlin Clark. I am not going to say this is intentional. It doesn't matter if it's intentional or not. It's a flagrant 1. If it's intentional, it's a flagrant 2. If it's not intentional, it's a flagrant 1. Like, if this is intentional, it's you toss her. Like, it's as simple as that. But like, this is the most obvious flagrant 1 I've seen. Like, she caught her in the neck. And then she's immediately going to the refs. Look at it. Go to the monitor, my neck. And the refs ignore it.
There is also the matter of the technicals and player interactions. We've seen instances this season where frustration from players, whether it's a wave-off or a post-play gesture, has resulted in technical foul. Fans are rightfully asking for consistency. Why is one player teed up for a certain action, while another player is allowed to walk away unscathed for similar behavior? This perceived inconsistency is at the heart of the bias rumor. It is the type of topic that dominates sports talk radio and podcasts, and it is exactly why the league might need to look closer at its communication strategies moving forward.
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. So when I say, specifically on Threads, that I am concerned about the way that this game is going to turn out between the Fever and the Dream, this is what I mean. Though they were two different games, it involved the same referee, and the referee didn't have the same energy that he had for Caitlin for Angel. So I would not be surprised if we see some of this biased refereeing come during the game on Thursday, because it's very clear that there's some bias going on, and that somebody is allowed to throw tantrums while somebody else is not even allowed to wave you off and walk away.
Beyond the officiating, the basketball itself was brilliant. The Indiana Fever showed grit, overcoming not just the Atlanta Dream, but the emotional weight of a game that felt like a playoff atmosphere. Caitlin Clark's performance was not just about the numbers, it was about the way she managed the game's tempo when things were threatening to spiral. She's become a floor general who understands when to push, when to pull back, and most importantly, how to keep her team in the win column even when the circumstances feel disadvantageous. Then there is the physical battle in the paint. Angel Reese has been a force for Atlanta, consistently crashing the boards and giving her team second and third chances. The clash between the Fever's offense and the Dream's defense has been one of the more intriguing tactical puzzles this season. The game featured multiple lead changes, and for long stretches, it felt as though neither team would be able to pull away. This type of high-level competition is exactly what the WNBA needs to continue its upward trajectory in popularity. As we look toward the future, the league is in a unique position. It is growing faster than almost any other professional sport. With that growth comes growing pains, not just for the athletes, but for the entire officiating apparatus. If the WNBA can successfully navigate these challenges, it will only serve to strengthen the product. But if these narratives about bias and unfairness are allowed to fester without clear, transparent responses from the league, they could become a distraction that detracts from the incredible skill displayed on the floor. Ultimately, the Fever survived. They proved their resilience by outscoring Atlanta in the overtime period, demonstrating that they are more than capable of executing under extreme pressure. While the what-ifs surrounding the officiating will likely continue to dominate social media threads for the next few days, the reality of the standings is what truly counts. Indiana is now 23-12, and their fourth straight win proves they are hitting their stride at the perfect time. The game provided exactly what the fans wanted, a dramatic back-and-forth battle that kept everyone on the edge of their seats until the final buzzer. As the WNBA season pushes toward the playoffs, these kinds of games are only going to become more common. High-stakes matchups bring out the intensity in everyone involved: players, coaches, and, unfortunately for them, the referees. It is a testament to the growth of the league that a regular season game between Indiana and Atlanta is being analyzed with the intensity of a playoff series. Whether the officiating was truly flawed or just a product of a fast-paced game, the conversation itself is a byproduct of the incredible success of these athletes. The Fever and the Dream have both played their part in building the hype, and they will surely bring that same intensity when they cross paths again. For now, the record books will show a 95-91 win for Indiana. The controversy, the whistles, and the online theories are just noise. The real story remains the way these players are competing night in and night out, pushing each other to new heights and bringing fans along for the ride. If the WNBA wants to maintain the integrity of this growth, the league would do well to address the transparency concerns. But let's be real. The drama is also part of what makes the sport so captivating. Fans want answers. They want fairness, but they also crave the thrill of the chase. And on Sunday in Atlanta, they certainly got plenty of that. The reality is that we are witnessing a golden age of WNBA basketball, despite the officiating drama, the level of play, the strategic depth, and the sheer talent on display are higher than they have ever been. Whether you're a fan of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, or simply a fan of the game itself, there is no denying that the product is must-watch television. The officiating debates are a part of that, for better or for worse. They prove that people are watching, that they care, and that every single possession matters. That level of passion is the foundation upon which dynasties are built. So, what is the next step? The Fever will continue their push for a top 4 seed, and the Dream will have to look at their late-game execution to avoid future heartbreaks. The officials will continue to do their best in an impossible job, and the fans will continue to talk, tweet, and speculate. It is a cycle that isn't going anywhere, but through it all, one thing remains certain: the game continues to grow and the stars continue to shine, regardless of the chaos in the periphery. We will be watching, waiting to see what happens when these two teams meet again, and hoping that the only thing stealing the headlines next time is the incredible basketball.